Welcome to Outside the Jungle, the only show about your Fort Wayne Komets. I'm your host, Shane Albarani, and we have another terrific show for you. We have a very interesting conversation with new equipment manager Skyler Garver. We take you all the way back to October 18th in the highlight portion of the show. We have another special edition of Comet Trivia ready for you. And of course, we close the show with another Bob Chase classic. So let's get things rolling with Skyler Garver right after this.
Season tickets for the 69th season of Comet Hockey are on sale now. No lines, no fees, no hassles, and all the fun. Right now, you can save up to 25% off walk-up pricing on prime seat locations. See every home game and receive exclusive season ticket holder benefits like ticket exchange nights, future season location upgrades, and discounts on souvenirs and merchandise. Act now to save big and join the greatest fan base in the ECHL. Call the Comet office or visit komets.com/tickets and join the crowd.
We are here with arguably the most important person in the organization. People don't realize it, what the equipment manager does. And we have our new equipment manager, Skyler Garver, here. And you know what? I took over for a legend, Bob Chase. You're taking over for a legend in Joe Franke. So how does that feel?
It's big shoes to fill, that's for sure. Obviously, anybody that knows Joe knows how incredible he was as a person. Not only that, but the way he did his job. I don't know, there's fixes that he would have just in a pinch that I'd look at him and go, why did I never even think of that? So I only got to spend 1 year with Joe, but it was probably the most valuable year I've had in my career so far. Just learning so many things, and hopefully I can do the job half as well as he did, and I should be all right.
Well, let's start with your career. I mean, you're not that old. You're not that well seasoned, but you've seen a lot of hockey, though.
I sure have, yeah. So I started playing over at McMillan Park, and when I was like 5 years old, my father got a job with the federal government. We moved all the way out to Virginia, so out there it's a lot of roller hockey, not a lot of ice. Started playing ice again when I was 14 and got back into it. We ended up moving back here. I played for IPFW for 4 years. Got done there, and Indiana Tech was looking for an equipment guy, and I had been working in the local pro shop there. Did that, and we ended up actually winning a national championship my first year there, and this opened up, and jumped over here, and obviously had an awesome first year, and can't be more excited to get ready for the second.
Now, what kind of inspired you to become an equipment manager? I know it's kind of neat because, you know what, you and I, we weren't good hockey players, so, you know, we couldn't go on doing that. So I got into broadcasting. You got into being the equipment manager. So how did that evolution?
Well, I think you hit the nail on the head there. I'm not a good hockey player, right? So that's kind of where I knew I wanted to be involved in hockey. This sport means a lot to me and my family as a whole. So if there was some way for me to stay involved in the game, I figured, hey, let's do it. It also helps that I'm a part of the Wall family, which owns the Roller Dome North and South here in Fort Wayne. South is unfortunately closed, but from a young age I was involved in skating, and I was always kind of interested between my uncles that were helping run the rink on how can we fix something that's broken, even if it's something minor on a rental skate for a customer. And so I could say I was probably fixing my first skate when I was 6, 7 years old, even if it was just watching someone else do it. So kind of always had an interest in how I could tweak things to make them better for myself, because like you said, I didn't have the skill, so I had to give myself an edge somehow equipment-wise. So definitely got me to a point where it was like, hey, I could kind of make a job out of this. That'd be fun.
Yeah. So how did you get to be Joe's assistant?
Well, the opening kind of presented itself, and I was with Indiana Tech, and actually I had signed on with Indiana Tech for the next year, and then Joe got a hold of me. I had known him because my first year at Indiana Tech, I kind of was like, hey, you know, I need some help here and whatnot, and luckily I knew his stepson, Brendan Fitzgerald, who's one of our helpers that we have, a stick guy there, and he passed the message along, and Joe had me come in and interview with David, and one thing led to another, and here we are.
Yeah, here we are. Now, talk about really, I mean, it is so important. You guys are so important, and I don't think people realize how much work goes into this. Well, now, it was I don't think it was probably much different doing college, maybe just the schedule-wise, you had more games, but it was still the same amount of work. So just talk a little bit, just kind of take us through a normal home game. Oof. Now we know, you were the assistant. Now Joe was the main guy, but now, as of right now, you don't have a helper. You're going to be the only guy. So we're down a man going into this season. Yeah. So what does that look like? We've got the morning skate, and then you've got all day to prepare for that night. Sure. And now, with the way things are in the world, you're really going to be important in the dressing room.
Yeah, I'm excited to kind of see what the league comes down with as far as our standards and what we have to do next. Normal game day, if we have a morning skate, let's say we skate at 10 o'clock, guys have to arrive at 7. Me, Benny, and Legs generally try to have a race to see who can get to the rink first, and Legs seems to beat me almost every day. But get into the rink about 7:15. We're there for morning skate, getting everything ready, finishing whatever laundry we didn't have time to finish the night before. We'll go through morning skate. Guys will get off the ice probably around 10:30. Start their laundry right away. If we have the visiting team in, then they're going to come and do their morning skate right thereafter. And when a visiting team comes to us, we're in charge of their laundry, and vice versa. When we're on the road, they take care of our laundry. So that's kind of where we start there. We sharpen every single player that we have skates before every single game, before or after morning skate, up to their preference. Then we're right back for game day. So a lot of times I might have an hour that I can go home, let my dog out, and grab a bite to eat, and I'm right back to the rink. Chipotle, I think they know me by first name right now. But, so we'll be back for the game. I'm back here around 3:30 for a game. That puck drops at 7:30, running all the way through till about midnight, 1 o'clock. And if it's back-to-back, we're doing it all over again the next day at 7 a.m. So.
Now, you mentioned to every player's specification. So every player is different. They like their gear a certain way. So how do you juggle that?
It's a lot of memory stuff, for sure. Yeah, it's a lot of tweaking, too. So guys are pretty dialed in at this point in their careers on what they like. And luckily, you've had good equipment managers and other teams that they've been on that you can kind of communicate with them if you need to. But most of the time, the guy knows. And it's kind of funny. You'll get some guys that I go, "Hey, what do you like your skate sharp?" And they go, "I don't know, whatever the last guy did." And it's like, okay, well, great. So let's figure this out. So we've got a lot of different options for every guy. And like I said, it's a preference thing. Sean St. Amant, for example, loves his skate sharpened a lot. So if anything feels wrong to him, we're going to do them for him. So we always have 2 sets of steel for him on the bench, and we're popping it in and out constantly. We had one game against Indy this year. I literally sharpened his skates 5 times in one game, which is pretty unheard of. But, I mean, if you watch the guy skate, he's an incredible skater. He moves so well out there that makes a lot of sense that if he feels something's off and I can make it to where it doesn't feel off anymore, well, that's what I'm there for. So
And, so you do stuff on the fly, obviously, as well. You're on the bench, a skate blade breaks or goalie's pad strap comes loose. I mean, you're going to be on it. And, when the game stops, all eyes are on you. Sure. How quick, especially me, I'm up there in the booth trying to kill time. Come on, Skyler, fix that thing.
I know it. I think I like to give the guys a hard time when they're out there for warm-ups. I'll kind of do like a little fake stretch and pretend I'm grabbing a stick and putting it over the boards. And I'm doing my work just like they are. But yeah, it's definitely something where it's very innovative. And I think that was one thing that Joe really helped me realize is like, if you can just get something that's good enough to get through the period, good enough to get to where you can fix it permanently. It's definitely something that you got to be innovative, and like I said, I think Joe was one of the best at that. So hopefully, I can follow in suit a little bit there.
And now, when we go on the road, it's also very, work intensive because if we got a home game and we got to go to Wheeling, where we're pulling in at 5, 6 in the morning, we're going to the rink, all the guys are taking their gear off the bus, but you've got to stay there. You can't go to the hotel, you can't go back on the bus, so you're there. You're going to sleep there, you're going to take care of everything, and it's just an incredible grind. And again, it's something that people just don't realize that we got one guy doing all this stuff. Sure. Yeah, I'm definitely not tooting my own horn, but this is the most unsung hero position.
Exactly.
Seen, right? So, it's a lot of behind the scenes stuff that nobody really gets to see. But it just makes that on ice product that much better for everybody. When you have a guy that can perform at the best of his ability with no, I don't like the word excuse, but there's no drawbacks. I can make it so that he can do everything that he wants to do within his skill set. That's what kind of gives me my satisfaction at the end of the day.
And does it help you a little bit? You're a little bit younger, you're a little bit closer to your playing days, but you kind of get these guys because you are almost you're their age, But Joe was obviously a lot older, but you get these guys maybe a little bit more.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's definitely one of my benefits is being able to relate with the guys, not only on an equipment aspect, but even on a personal level. If you got a guy having a bad day, it's a legitimate thing, and I think too. We spend a lot more time with these guys probably than we do with our own families during the season. So they kind of are one of they're family extended, right? Mm-hmm. So a lot of these guys, you can tell when somebody's off, something's going on. So if it's something dumb, like one of my favorite things is I'll sew a guy's jersey shut for practice, and he tries to put his arm through and it won't go through. So just like a little prank to maybe put a smile on his face if he's having a bad day or something like that. So I definitely think being around these guys, being my age, I can definitely relate to them in a manner that kind of benefits everyone.
Yeah. And the skill set to do this is incredible because not only you got to be physically strong, just plain old lugging gear around, you're dealing with ordering sticks, ordering gear, you're repairing on the fly. You have to sew. I mean, it's a crazy amount of things that you just need to know about. Absolutely. I mean, there's tools everywhere. There's blades. There's craziness going on. You have to know how to do all that.
Sure. Yeah, I think that was kind of what brought me to the job, quite honestly. I was a criminal justice major in college, and I kind of knew we have a family full of law enforcement, so I kind of knew that I wouldn't be able to sit behind a desk for the rest of my life. I needed something that was going to provide just a different challenge every day. And let me tell you, this job does.
Now, have you got to know some of the equipment managers of the other teams?
Sure.
So have you already reached out to those guys?
A couple of them, yeah. Billy in Wheeling, he's an incredible guy. He's been there, I think, 17, 18 years. So he's been one that every time we went to his place or he came here, he'd always stop me and see how everything was going. Flinchy down in Indy is one of Joe's really good friends, and I think that kind of speaks volumes. Is the head equipment manager with our affiliate from last year, the Vegas Golden Knights, was Joe's stick boy in Muskegon in the 90s. So this guy's in the NHL, and Joe's still here. I mean, just goes to show you Joe's seen it all. So, but I think that's why it was so valuable to have Joe for me and just be able to pick his brain. And I think a lot of times I annoyed him with how many questions I asked him, but I'm sure now I'm going to probably have to do the same thing because there's never enough that you can know.
Yeah.
I mean, you cannot know enough ever about anything. So tips and tricks, and guys will come in and go, oh, my equipment manager had this. I'm like, well, tell me more about it. So so I think it'll be cool to kind of really get to know some of those guys around the league more on an individual basis.
And when Joe started, it was the late 70s. So obviously this position has evolved over 40-some years. Joe was actually the trainer. I saw Joe stitch people up back in the day. Yeah. Obviously you don't have to do that, but luckily. It's crazy just how it has evolved.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think that was a couple of things that he used to tell me is he's like, anytime you think that you're having a hard day, just think that I used to have to sew a guy up and sharpen his skates in 10 minutes in between a period. I'm like, holy smokes, more power to him, right? So I think sometimes you take it for granted.
Yeah.
You get in your own head. You're like, oh my gosh, I've been here. This is a 3 and 3s. I'll tell you right now, those are the worst, especially for us because it's legitimately probably 48 to 50 hours in 3 days. And you definitely hope that Benny's willing to give you 2 days off on that one so you can kind of sleep in the next day. But no, it's good though. But I think just in general, the skill set provided here, that's why I think Joe was around as long as he was.
Yeah.
He knew everything. I mean, if he had downtime in between a game or maybe I was going to go grab lunch, he was out there fixing his car or something like that. His skill set never stopped. So I think that gave me definitely something to strive towards and just to continue to kind of teach myself new things that I might not know a thing about.
Yeah. And you take care of ordering the sticks and the equipment and all that stuff. So you even have to be a mini accountant because you've got a budget now to stick with and you've got to order it now. And now talk a little bit about sticks. Sure. I mean, we have to use a specific stick in this league.
Absolutely.
So, but you guys coming in who, it's just like a bat in baseball. People are going to be very specific to their equipment. So how does that affect the player when he's like, hey, I had a Bauer, now I've got a Warrior,
Yeah, I mean, I think the brands nowadays are doing a great job of making high-quality sticks regardless of what brand they are. But you're going to get a little bit different, kick point. You're going to get a little bit different stiffness. Every stick is going to be just a little bit different, and that's obviously what makes them competitors because they're providing a different product than someone else. So we had a time, the league actually granted us CCM exemptions, so it was kind of easy for us to identify guys that were on NHL or AHL contracts because they were able to use their CCM sticks. So with that being said, we had a time one night where we had a bunch of guys get sent down to us and we had passed our exemption limit. And I think guys were actually playing like rock, paper, scissors for who got to use their sticks compared to the Warriors. So, I think the biggest difference is the CCMs at the higher level are going to be more custom to that specific guy. That guy can change everything from the color of his stick all the way down to how high the blade is and how little the blade is. At our level, it's more generalized, but you have every single guy that wants something different, whether it's a 75 flex with this curve, 100 flex with this curve, and obviously it goes down to right-handed and left-handed. Yeah. Then you have grip on your stick or no grip on your stick. So there's so many different options, and then you get a guy, again, like Sean St. Amant, incredible shooter, and he wants to change everything when he's on a slump, right? So he hasn't scored in 2 games. Maybe it's the stick. Maybe I should change that up. Yeah. And you've got to listen to him, and you got to help him out and get through that. And he did pretty well for us this year, so I was definitely happy to comply.
And talking to players, throughout the years, some guys are very specific about their gear. I mean, they don't change it. You know, someone like Jason Binkley told me he had the same shoulder pads since high school.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
but so you can't say, well, you know, maybe you need a new set of this or not. You know, but they're pretty happy with what they have.
Absolutely, yeah. You definitely run into that where it's like a guy, Kyle Haas, for example, had a fight this year and his shoulder pads ripped. And he looked at me, he's like, well, these are my favorite ones. And I'm like,
and you have got to keep them
and
alive.
I'm looking at him like, Kyle, they're older than you, man. Let's get you some new ones.
Yeah.
So we ended up getting him into a new pair. But it's definitely just what you're comfortable in. You want the guy to be comfortable, and sometimes it's like an old broken-in T-shirt that you don't want to give to the Goodwill, right? It's a good shirt, and you want to keep it around. It's the same thing with equipment.
And skates is another thing. That's that is also very specific. Obviously, probably the most important thing to a hockey player. Sure. So you got to be very in tune to the skates because the guys are going to get new skates, but guys are going to stick with the skates that they like. But you know what? I've seen situations where guys have gotten new skates. I think Jamie Shaftsma had a situation where he got new skates, but he didn't like them at all, and he had to go back to the old ones.
We've had that happen quite a few times, even this past year. And I think that's kind of the biggest thing is when I first got into the position, I was told there's two things you can't replace on the road, skates and a jersey, right? Yeah. So those are the two things you got to make sure you have plenty of. So we're pretty fortunate that ownership takes care of our guys through the league, and most guys have two pairs of skates at any given time. So if something were to go horribly wrong that I wouldn't even be able to fix it, they at least have a backup pair of skates that they could get through for the couple of weeks that it takes to make a new pair. But like you said, it's fully custom. I mean, all the way down to we've got guys. I think Anthony Petrozelli's foot, like his left foot's a size 10 and his right foot's a 9.5 or something like that. So it's completely custom. Yeah. So we definitely try to cater to whatever they need as far as being comfortable.
Yeah, it's not like putting on a pair of shoes.
It is not. No, not at all. Especially when, like I said, spending time with your family, they probably spend more time in their skates than they do street shoes during the season. So it's about making sure everybody's comfortable at the end of the day.
I mentioned jerseys. Now, last year and the years past, the Komets have had a lot of specialty jerseys, and we know what guys leave the team, guys come to the team.
Oh yeah,
especially jersey night. Now, what kind of fresh situation that is when that happens?
Well, I think you have some guys that really like some and don't like some of the others. The Paw Patrol ones were a big hit with the kids, and there were a couple of guys that looked at me and said, "Do I have to wear this?" I'm like, well, yeah. And we got through it, and it was obviously okay, and obviously it goes to a great charity at the end of the day, but. The guys really like the New Year's Eve ones. Those blackout jerseys, they really like those. So.
But I mean, just like changing nameplates. I mean, nameplates and numbers and things like that. Because a lot of times we can't change the numbers. But you got a new guy, you got to have a new nameplate.
Sure. Well, and that was something that I saw firsthand with Joe. We went to Cincinnati and we had a bunch of injuries, and we called a kid up from the SPHL. Last name was Reichert, and we didn't have a nameplate, and we were wearing a specialty jersey. And it just so happened the jerseys were shipped to Cincinnati, and we didn't even have them with us, so we knew we were calling them up, but we couldn't work on it until we got there. So you're driving to Cincinnati, Joe's bringing a sewing machine, I'm taking care of everything else while he is literally cutting pieces of letters together to make an R and then make an E and so on and so forth. We got it done. It didn't look pretty from up close. You had to do what you had to do. And we did another one with Connor Sanvito, and it's actually kind of funny. It was the Paw Patrol jersey. They had the bone, and believe it or not, Joe used a black Sharpie and wrote his name. And you could not tell. You could not tell unless you got right up next to it. But those situations definitely arise.
And those are the tricks. And, you have to, there's also league rules, too, that you guys also have got to.
There sure are. Yeah, the league does a really good job, I think, of making sure that we're in a good spot. They're definitely setting up for success for us. Additionally, I think the professionalism of the league is what kind of makes it to where it is a legitimate hockey league here. So every guy has to have a nameplate. They'll have to have a fight strap. Those fight straps, some guys like them to be a little bit tighter than others. Some guys like them to come off a little bit easier than others. I've heard a couple horror stories from Kaylee Schrock, like that he used to want it to be in a certain spot so it would come off easier so he could get after a guy. But yeah, I think it's just at the end of the day, those jerseys, it's a constant uphill battle, and I think the NHL does a really good job. They have like 3 to 4 sets a year.
Yeah.
We don't have that luxury. Yeah. So at the end of the year, if you look at it, it definitely looks like it's been to war.
Yeah.
And I think that's a good way of putting it, is the sewing that we have to do into it, and this, that, the other. Definitely looks like it's been used at the end of the year, that's for sure.
I want to talk about, we're talking about sewing and stitching guys up, and I just want to touch about a little story what happened in Jacksonville.
Let's do it. I was going to bring this up. Let's do it.
It was a thing where it was a crazy night, crazy weekend. Brett McKenzie got caught with a skate blade by Alan Lasarchuk, and you were right there.
Yeah.
And I had Mac on a couple weeks later on the podcast, And so there was some discretion, a little disagreement as to your reaction to that.
Listen, so it was a very interesting situation. Joe was helping pack everything up because, like you said, we had a lot to do and we got to be ready pretty much to go in about 30 minutes after the game is over. So Joe was packing stuff up. Alan Lazarchuk blew through both sets of his steel on bad ice down there because of the conditions, the humidity, and everything else. So Alan comes to me during a TV timeout, and he says, I can't skate, can you go sharpen these? Sure. I go get him done, bring him back 3 minutes later, pop him into Alan's skates. We're still on a TV timeout. I said, Alan, jump out there and make sure that they feel okay. Throws his right leg over the bench, and Brett McKenzie's arm just happens to be standing right there. Slices Brett wide open, and he starts legitimately, sorry for the graphics, squirting blood everywhere. And it was kind of gross.
Yeah.
I'm standing on the end of the bench, and all of a sudden I hear everyone kind of going, oh no, you know, with some other pretty words in there, like, hey, get out of the way, this is kind of a serious situation. Brett looks at me and goes, towel. And I kind of looked at him and went, what? He goes, towel. And I'm like, okay. And I threw him a towel. Now, he says that he had to grab the towel by himself because I was shell-shocked and I didn't know it. That was not the case whatsoever. I grabbed a towel on the second time of not being able to hear him in a loud rink, and I got him his towel safely and soundly. And he is he fabricated that story. He owes me big time on that one because he made me look bad, and that was not the case whatsoever. So next time I see him, we're going to have words, that's for sure.
So Skyler Garver, calm and cool under pressure.
Calm, cool, and collected, blood or no blood. Absolutely. Thanks a lot, Macker.
And finally, since you're picking up for Joe, can you play goal? Are you willing to strap the pads on in an emergency situation?
I absolutely will. I have no problem with that. I have never played goalie, but I think I was talking to my parents about this when I took the position. The only way I can up Joe is if I get in a goalie fight now, right?
Yeah, I mean, he won. He was shootout and everything.
So I can't do much better than winning on that save that he made off the back. I got to do something to stand out. So I got to do something if I ever get in, which I really hope never happens. But if I do, just look out for that. Maybe I'll try to make a name for myself.
If you get suspended, are you suspended from being the equipment manager or just playing goal?
I don't know. We'll have to take that one up with the league, I guess. I don't know really how that works, but we'll see.
First time for everything.
Absolutely. I'd love to be the first.
All right, buddy. Skyler Garver, new equipment manager for the Fort Wayne Komets.
Thanks for having me.
Skyler Garver, everyone. In the interview, we talked a little bit about an incident down in Jacksonville between Skyler and Brett McKenzie back in January. And if you want to hear more about that, listen to episode 46 of the Huntington University Komets podcast with Brett McKenzie. Just go to Komets.com and click on Fan Zone or catch up on Apple Podcasts. We do have some roster news for you. Last week, the Komets added to their roster by signing the Boca brothers, Nick and Luke. Nick Boca was selected in the 6th round by the Minnesota Wild in the 2015 NHL Draft. The Plymouth, Michigan native completed a 4-year collegiate career at the University of Michigan, helping the Wolverines to 2 NCAA tournament appearances and the Frozen Four in 2018. The right-handed defenseman made his pro debut playing 4 games with the Allen Americans at the end of the 2018-2019 season. Boca re-signed with the Americans last season, collecting 32 penalty minutes in 29 games. Luke Boca spent the last 5 seasons with Windsor of the OHL, setting a franchise record for most games played on February 23, 2020. Boca scored 60 goals, accumulated 80 assists in 313 games with the Spitfires. He was also the team's captain the previous 2 seasons. Next up, some highlights from October 18th when the Komets put up a big number on the scoreboard against the Wheeling Nailers, and get ready to play along with an extended version of Komets Trivia. And it's all coming up next on Outside the Jungle.
Season tickets for the 69th season of Comet Hockey are on sale now. No lines, no fees, no hassles, and all the fun. Right now, you can save up to 25% off walk-up pricing on prime seat locations. See every home game and receive exclusive season ticket holder benefits like ticket exchange nights, future season location upgrades, and discounts on souvenirs and merchandise. Act now to save big and join the greatest fan base in the ECHL. Call the Comet office or visit komets.com/tickets and join the crowd.
And he missed it wide right. McKenzie, he'll take a shot. He scores! Brett McKenzie! And once again, they score within the first minute of the period. Let's see who gets this one. McKenzie was the one who shot it. I believe Shaw was standing right in the blue paint. And let's see if he did touch it. I've been back the other way on the left wing. Here's a pass coming in. Front shoot, score! Here's a shot, score! Tipped, and the Komets get another one. at the last second. Coming out in front, here's a shot, save made by Dorio. Score! Dorio fumbled it. It was right in front of the net. I think Petrozelli's going to get this one. And we got a minute left to go in the first period. Nailers with it. Now Petrozelli with a steal in front of Jenks. He scores! A.J. Jenks!
Creates havoc down low. As you said, he pulled the puck back, got it over to Jenks. Jenks put it in the back of the net. Beautiful.
The face-off, and we're dropping the gloves. We have got Brett McKenzie. McKenzie and Schultz back in the Nailers zone. They're squaring up. McKenzie with a right, Schultz with a right as well. Sue Binkley on the far point. He'll wrist it in front. Score! Game is over and the Komets win 7-3. Very, very impressive tonight.
All right, a very special edition of Comet Trivia. We have got the boys from the Hockey in the Fort podcast with us here tonight. We have got Ed, Don, and Nick. Don is not in camera frame, but he will be helping out throughout the proceedings here tonight. So we've got 3 of you there tonight. So you guys are going to get a special set of questions. You get 10 tonight because you can confer. So there can be conferring on these.
All right.
A special set of 10 questions for these super fans. We're going to prove it here tonight because bragging rights are on the line. Are you ready?
Yep.
No easy ones for you guys. Here we go. Question number 1. This one should be easy. Who has the most points in Comets history?
Most points in Comets history. We're not cheating, promise.
He had his own bobblehead last season.
Yeah, Len Thornton.
There you go, Len
I was going to
Thornton.
say, I was like, is this a trick question?
That is not a trick.
Yeah, I'm overthinking.
Len Thornton is correct.
Yeah.
All right, now moving on to question number 2. Len Thornton, by the way, 1,219 points. That's a lot. Question number 2. The Komets won 3 straight Turner Cups from 2007 to 2009. Name the teams they played to win the Cups those 3 years. 3 different teams in the IHL.
Port Huron was one.
There you go.
Flint was one.
There you go. One more. Muskegon, number 3. That is
Ed comes through for one. How about that?
Ed good for one.
It sounded like he was guessing.
I couldn't remember if that was...
So Ed's got one. All right, now moving on to number 3. Continuing on with those 3 Turner Cups the Komets won. Who scored the game-winning goal in triple overtime in Game 7 of 2007 Turner Cup Finals?
Justin Hodgman.
Easy. That's 3 of 3. They're not all going to be that easy. Starting with this next one.
Oh, boy.
All right. The Komets have retired 14 players' numbers up to the rafters. How many of those are goaltenders?
Oh, jeez.
2.
No,
I believe
it's
it. Hold on.
3.
We got...
There's 3.
It is 3.
Yep.
You got it right. Chuck Adamson, Robbie Irons, and Nick Boucher.
Yep.
I knew 2.
Number 1, number
Forgot
30,
about
number
Adamson,
33.
didn't you? Yeah. Everybody forgets about Chuck, but he was there.
That's right. He was the first goaltender. That's right. Okay, now speaking of goaltenders, we're going to stick with the goaltending here. Only twice has a Comet goaltender won league MVP honors. Kevin St. Pierre was the last one to do it in 03-04. Can you name the first one? And it is multiple choice. Okay? Was it Robbie Irons, Darren Jensen, or Doug Teske? The first Comet goaltender to win league MVP honors.
Either one of... None of those 3 were my first guess. So.
We have a time limit I'm thinking here, I promise.
Go right ahead.
Can you give me the options one more time? Teske, Robbie, and who?
Darren Jensen.
Jensen?
Darren Jensen.
I'm going to go with Jensen.
Darren Jensen is correct.
I know Rock.
83-84. He had 40 wins that season. Also Rookie of the Year. Went on to play for the Philadelphia Flyers. So Darren Jensen is the correct answer. And we're just moving right along. Question number 6. Now, for a very brief period, in the summer of 1990, Fort Wayne was without a hockey team. The owner, David Welker, moved the franchise to what city in New York?
Albany.
Boom, Albany. Bonus question. What was the team name?
Riverettes? Or no?
That is incorrect.
Yeah, well, bonus question. It doesn't count.
It was the Albany Choppers that did not
the
make it through an
Choppers.
entire season. Now, in conjunction with that last question, the Franke family purchased what defunct IHL franchise and moved it to Fort Wayne that summer?
Flint.
Flint. Yes, the Flint Spirits at the time. They were affiliated with the New York Rangers that year. Yes, so Flint.
Ugh.
Correct.
Oh, sorry.
Man, you guys are trucking right through these. We got 3 more. So far, 7 of 7. Now, going back to the retired number question, 14 players have had their numbers retired, as I stated before. How many of those players, did not win a championship in Fort Wayne?
Oh, jeez.
Out of those 14.
Oh, yeah,
It's
you're
just
right.
a number, not looking for the players.
Okay. Well done on this question, by the way. I can only think of 2.
That is correct! 2! Now, can you name them, Nick? Name them,
Laird
Don.
and McDougal.
Right on. And Don's not even the one on the
didn't know that
camera.
one. Well done.
All right, the final 2. Okay, we're going to recent history here. Okay?
Okay.
I'll give you the date. February 21st, 2016 versus the Colorado Eagles. This Comet player scored the fastest 2 goals in Comet history. Just 4 seconds apart.
Oh no.
I remember this.
I remember it happening.
Just 4 seconds. He scored 2 goals in 4 seconds.
In 16, right? In
Yeah,
Colorado.
16 Colorado.
Against Colorado at the Coliseum.
Do we have any lifelines?
If you have enough friends, you can call. They're all there. Who do you know?
No, all Ed's friends are here.
Oh, man. Oh, boy.
Do we get any kind of hint at all?
He was property of the Colorado Avalanche at the time. And the next season, he was playing for the Wheeling Nailers.
Garrett Mears.
There you go, Garrett Mears.
As soon as you said Wheeling, I knew it. He's in senior league now, so it's okay.
9 of 9. Now, the 10th one. Are you guys ready for the 10th one?
Yep.
It has to do with your show.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
You had a recent guest on your podcast. It was Steve Fletcher. Am I correct?
Uh-huh.
Now, Steve Fletcher, of course, leads the all-time list in penalty minutes, 1,588. And we all know what number is hanging from the rafters, right?
Yep.
Number 77. Okay. When Steve Fletcher arrived in Fort Wayne in 1982, he did not wear number 77. What number did he wear?
4.
Oh! Number 4. Steve Fletcher.
Thank God you knew that, because I forgot.
From
He
1982.
told us about it on
I
the
know.
show.
Outstanding work, fellas. I'm out of questions. That was fun.
That was a, there was some tough ones in there.
Oh, yeah.
It was May 21st, 1993, and the Komets had just capped off one of the most amazing runs in hockey history, winning 12 straight playoff games to win their first Turner Cup in 20 years. The Komets swept the San Diego Gulls that night, winning 6-1, so let's send it down to ice level for the reaction. Here's Bob Chase.
Get out of the ice right now, see if we can pick Bob up. All right, how we doing, guys? Hey, we all healthy up there? Beautiful. I'm going to start moving around here as best I know how and see if I can't get a little of this action.
Remember, you don't have skates.
Huh?
Remember, you don't have
I don't
skates
need the
on.
skates. Would you hold that for me, Gabby? I got to do a little moving around and find a couple of hockey players. And I'm just going to move right into the middle of this crowd, by golly, because now's the time to get the job done. First of all, Steve Franke. Congratulations. The Franke family brought a Turner Cup to Fort Wayne.
Oh, we're happy as punch. It's great, Bob. It's a great feeling. Just a great feeling.
I hope we have a lot of handshakes for a lot of years to come.
Hey, we're on a 2-peat for next year and a 3-peat after that.
Hey,
we're ready to go.
Right here. Steve, congratulations again.
Thank you, Bob.
All right, and if I can, and Pokey Reddick gets the big one, the MVP award for the playoffs. And as quick as we can get to him, trying to get Pokey Reddick. Pokey, congratulations, guy. What a hell of a series.
Thanks a lot. Just wanted to play well and have a good year. I thought
You said you were going to do it in 12. You knew you were going to make this. You were so confident you took everybody with you.
Yeah, everybody played well. I just wanted to, try to work hard and get my job done. I think I did.
You sure got your job done for now and forever. The best goaltender in minor hockey, bar none. Congratulations.
Thanks a lot. Thanks very much.
Have a good time. We'll see a lot of you, fella. Pokey Reddick, the MVP of the playoffs besides what I can with it. And this place is a madhouse.
The Turner Cup.
Way to go, buddy.
It's a great feeling. Great feeling. Players, the players are enjoying it. That's what it's all about.
It's kind of tough skating down there. You did a fantastic job. Good team.
Thanks, Bob.
I would say the best team that ever played.
Thanks very much. Appreciate it. You guys did whatever they had to win it. Took just about everything we had.
Well, you paid the price. I'm glad you were going to do the job.
Thanks, Bob.
Thanks, buddy. All right, Elson. Here we go. How about that? Hey. For a moment, David Franke. How about that, fella?
We're the champions, Bob. We're the champions after 20 years.
I know when this first started 3 years ago, David Franke said, we're going to sell this place out time after time. We're going to get the Turner Cup, and you didn't mess around with it.
It's the hottest ticket in town, Bob, and it's going to stay that way as long as we can keep it.
And as I told Al Sims, of all the teams that we have had over the many, many years, this has to rank, I think, as the top team in achievement we've ever had here.
12 victories in a row in the playoffs, 3 sweeps. It's never been done before. It may never be done again. This is the greatest.
Way to go, Jim.
We're the champions.
Hey, all right. We go with David Franke, and we're going crazy out here. And right now, I am trying to see where in the world Michael. I've got to talk to Michael here.
Oh, Bob. I just don't believe this. We never would have thought this would have happened 4 or 5 months ago when the season started. We really struggled out of the gate. And we just wanted to make the playoffs, but these guys really, really showed the heart, determination that they had. And they did the job. I'm just so proud of them.
This team, as of about March 1, went on a mission, and they never stopped till they rewrote the history book.
Absolutely. These guys did not want to be defeated. Pokey Reddick is incredible. The defense, the whole team is just unbelievable.
For all the time and the worry and the work, boy, is this ever worth it, eh?
Bob, this is so much worth it. And I know my mom's up there looking down on us right now.
Right. Bob, there's Pokey with the trophy. Trying to find somebody taking nothing away from any of the other celebrations. They were all fantastic. But this team was on a mission like none I've ever seen before. They have to rank with the greatest teams that have ever played here. Yeah, Scotty on the way. We have had a party here. And right now, I'm going to pay for this broadcast. Here on WOWO, this is Fort Wayne Comet Hockey.
Another episode for the archives. Remember to subscribe to the Komets YouTube channel and catch up on all the episodes. So until next time, stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll see you outside the jungle.